think it's been 6 weeks since we had Carson Palmer on. That was during Super Bowl week. Had him during the regular season. Always appreciated his insights, certainly at the quarterbacking position, the former Heisman Trophy winner at USC. Are you a former Heisman Trophy winner, or you're just a Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah, I think you get rid of the former part and just keep it Heisman Trophy winner. Sounds better.
Okay, so former NFL quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, so of all the things that have happened since the Super Bowl, what's the number one thing that stood out to you, good or bad?
But I think the biggest story is Aaron Rodgers went back to Green Bay on a new contract. I mean, that was the headline throughout the season, obviously last year this time, and then last year this time, all the way up through training camp before the season started. But him back in Green Bay, still wearing the green and yellow, I think it's the best for the NFL. It's the best for Aaron. It's the best, obviously, for the Packers and Packer fans themselves.
You got the situation with the Browns where it feels like Baker Mayfield may have talked himself out of a job in that city, and they bring in Deshaun Watson. Let me start with Baker Mayfield. What kind of trade market do you think there is for Baker Mayfield going into the last year of his contract, coming off the injury?
Well, there's definitely a market for it. It's not the 3 or 4 first-round picks or 2 firsts and 2 seconds or whatever it is that the Cleveland Browns had to give to the Houston Texans to get Deshaun Watson. It's definitely, they're not going to get their money back on that. But there's somebody out there. There's too many teams that need a quarterback, and Baker is a much better upgrade than a lot of the guys that these teams have on their roster. So there's a market for him. But unfortunately, right now, this is that time. We should be talking about Baker's next deal with the Browns. They're negotiating it. They're still kind of in that honeymoon phase. They only took him with the first pick in the draft a couple years ago. We should be talking about that. We should not be talking about the friction between Baker and the Browns and this kind of constant theme that has been going on for a couple off seasons now. But I do think there is somebody out there that's willing to give up something to get Baker. Okay,
but if I said to you could have Matt Ryan or Baker Mayfield in Indianapolis?
I'd take, because of the situation that the Indianapolis Colts are in right now, they've got a veteran team. They're one player away from being a contender. I'd take Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I could see him going into that Matthew Stafford role. He's a couple of years older than Matthew, but I think that he's ready to go. The role that Jimmy Garoppolo plays in all of this with the musical chairs with quarterbacks is what?
He'll be somewhere. I think the Niners are waiting out post-draft to let teams really realize there aren't that many good quarterbacks in this draft. We need a vet. He'll go somewhere, and I think he'll actually drum up more demand than what Baker will get as far as what the team's going to get in return for a trade. But there's definitely a market for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Is there any football concerns? Are there any football concerns about Deshaun Watson? Just as a player, just as a quarterback?
Zero. I think he's within the top 5 best players in the league. He changes your team instantly. He brings a level of confidence to your team instantly. I know there's obviously a lot of guys that love playing with Baker and have a tremendous amount of respect. I've seen some quotes about the warrior that he was and playing injured, playing through the shoulder and all that he played through. But Deshaun's the same type of player. He puts it on the field. You get everything he's got. You get it from him on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, throughout the season. I think Deshaun's going to have a great year. You combine Deshaun with those 2 running backs, that pass rush they have there in Cleveland, the opportunistic defense on the back end that can get picks and get him the ball back. And more importantly, something that Deshaun has not had an offensive line like the Cleveland Browns since he got into the league. So seeing Deshaun play with that group in front of him in Cleveland is going to be something new that we haven't seen him play with at this level.
How many massage therapists did you have when you were playing?
Just one. My guy, Dave Matthews in Phoenix. He's the best in the business. Actually works on a number of NFL guys. But if you find, massage therapists are like anything. There's a bunch of them, and only a very few select hand, top 1% are really gifted and talented and have been given a God-given ability. So when you find that guy, I think we've heard Russell Wilson has found his and spends a lot of money on his guy. But finding the right guy that can keep you together, Tom Brady with Alex Guerrero for all the years he's been playing, finding that right guy is priceless.
Yeah, I've said that before. I mentioned in the first hour of the show, I have somebody who played 13 years and somebody else played 9. And I said, how many massage therapists? And they both said 1. If you find the one, that's why you have a serial pattern here with Deshaun Watson. You don't have 22, and you're not finding them on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what went on there. I don't know that we all will for a little while, until he gets cleared, that he's able to play all 17 games for the Cleveland Browns. There's no suspensions. Until we start hearing that chatter, we don't know where that situation is.
I haven't had you on since, your Cardinals there with Kyler Murray. Is everything good with your Cardinals here and his demands?
I think everything will be good when he signs his next contract. But until that time, I mean, it's been a tumultuous offseason for the Cardinals and for Kyler, obviously, as this story's unfolded. But the chatter that's quieted down, I think, is a good sign. I think it means they're making some headway on a new contract, or they've got some sort of agreement in place verbally when they will get to that contract discussion. So the fact that it's been quiet, all quiet on that front, is probably a good thing for the Cards.
I said at the time, and I'd firmly believe it, that the Chiefs got a deal, a bargain with Patrick Mahomes' contract. Like once in 3 or 4 years, like what are quarterbacks going to be making? And Mahomes, that's going to be a bargain.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. And that's why you've seen Aaron consistently sign shorter term deals, because he knows every 3 or 4 years, once that guaranteed money is paid out on that portion of the contract, that he's up for a new one. That's the problem with a guy like Mahomes. And like, to your point, the Chiefs did the right thing by giving him a longer term deal, more duration, more years. If they would have given him a shorter deal, which he would have preferred and the Chiefs not preferred, he'd be up for renegotiation probably after this season. But the longer the deal you sign, that day you sign it, it looks really sexy and it looks really good. But when it's a 7, 8, 9-year deal, once you get halfway through it, you're underpaid.
Carson Wentz going to the Commanders. Have they found their quarterback?
No, I think it's a stopgap for them. Okay. They're still searching. I feel like, you think back to those early days of RG3 and then Kirk Cousins, and then Kirk Cousins wasn't good enough for him, but they kept paying him with they kept tagging him, and then he was on to a new team and they got nothing for him. It just doesn't seem like they know what they're doing from the quarterback position. I mean, it's been a constant search. Not that the search is easy, but again, you just saw the Indianapolis Colts go through it. I mean, and the Commanders are in the same situation. They've got a good offensive line. They've got a good defense. They've got some really nice pieces, and they're a quarterback away. But the Colts just showed you what you shouldn't do is take on a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract for a guy that, has not played well or played up to his potential in years. And I think we're going to see the same thing shake out in Washington that we saw shake out this past season in Indy.
I got you 2.5 years younger than Tom Brady, and here he is coming back, Carson. What was your reaction?
I don't think you can be surprised with anything that happens with Brady. I never really bought into the retirement thing because you didn't officially see him say it or really see any real response from him on it. But he's a modern marvel. I mean, the guy keeps doing it. I cannot imagine. I woke up this morning early before the show to get a workout in, and I cannot imagine waking up early to get my workout on and getting prepared for next season at my age, let alone at 44.
Yeah. If I gave you 6 months to get ready.
To play in one game or to play in 17 games?
How about one?
I could get through the first half of one, but once I got into the locker room and my body had a chance to cool down, and I sat down on in front of my locker on the bench, I'd have a tough time getting back up to head out to the stadium for the third quarter.
I know you do some great things that maybe people aren't aware of. You're involved in Camp Rainbow Gold. Give you the opportunity to talk about how special that place is to you.
Yeah, really excited to be the spokesperson for Camp Rainbow Gold. It's a camp in Idaho where kids from all over the state with cancer can trade in and get out of the hospital that they've been living in and get out of those bright lights of a hospital and get outside and go to summer camp like a normal kid their age. The camp is full of all people donating their time, the camp counselors, the doctors that come in to administer chemotherapy, to do checkups. So it's an amazing place in Fairfield, Idaho. You can learn more about it on camprainbowgold.org. But at the end of the day, it's a beautiful, special place where kids with cancer that haven't had their fair shake at life, or their families, their siblings, their mom and dad, that have been living in a hospital with them, can get out and be a normal kid and go to summer camp. So it's a great organization. I'm really proud to be a part of it. And you can learn more again on camprainbowgold.org.
Great to talk to you as always, Carson. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dan.
Carson Palmer, Heisman Trophy winner, former NFL quarterback.